Hi, and welcome to Black on the Mat, the space where culture, community, and yoga intersect through our lived experiences. We're your host. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Saisha. Join us on this journey to bring representation and shed light on often overlooked stories on the yoga mat.
We're creating an accessible roadmap into yoga for Black people, building a community in this predominantly white space.
And letting folks already into yoga know that we're here.
Hey girl, hey, how's it going over there in sunny Florida?
Hey, it's fake sun, I swear. It's just bright, but we've got our winter is rain. So dealing with that, you see how crazy, how dry my hair looks. This is the real thing that I'm struggling through right now.
Well, my hair is showing the fact that, yes, it is drenching here. We're having atmospheric rivers here. And so my hair and I are drenched like a jerry curl. So if it starts dripping, don't get mad. I don't got a new jerry curl. We aren't flipping, flashing back into old school life.
You just try to let your soul glow. That's all.
I love you.
Okay.
As it drips more. We're always talking about inclusivity on this podcast, and it's actually why we have the podcast Black on the Mat. But I feel like you have a special journey, and as you reflect on your journey as a teacher who doesn't fit the mold of the skinny white woman who is, I'm just doing yoga, my name is Becky. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I did say that. Forgive me, y'all. Don't hate me. What challenges have you encountered or observed, and how are you navigating them?
So, I mean, we've expressed it in several ways, right? That the concept of you're the yoga teacher, ? Eyebrows furrowed, completely distraught and aghast at the possibility that it could be you. So that's already a thing as a Black person. And then so when you get to also be big, it's like, wait a minute, excuse me. No, Weight Watchers is the next class after we do this over there in that room. We want yoga over here. Mm-hmm. So we expected somebody to float in on a magic carpet / yoga mat. And that was supposed to be who was teaching, not you. I get a lot of weird looks. I get a lot of really just like questions and confusion, as if it's completely impossible that I could possibly be the yoga teacher. And then I really, the pushback, just like we talked about it in the previous episode about like, well, yoga's for white people, right? Also, well, yoga's for skinny people. What do you mean? And that, as a person who does like plus size fitness and wellness anyway, is extremely frustrating, because it's like, y'all complain about people being fat and you make fun of us being fat and big and this, that, and the other and this. And then when we try to work out, it's like, oh, but you don't belong here. Both of those things can't be true. It can't be both. It literally cannot be both. So which one do you want? Which one are you actually willing to let us hold a space in? That was part of the reason that drove me, a huge part of the reason that drove me into this space. I wasn't seeing the representation of larger bodies in teaching when I was trying to learn. So I had to show that. And like, I've had the conversations, I've had the multiple levels of like I've looked people in the eye that look the same, they're about the same size as me, and they're telling me that we can't do this when I'm about to teach the class.
Well, what do you say to them? Like literally, what do you say to them when they say like, oh, we can't do this because I'm this size? What is your comments?
I mean, my first reaction, it depends on the situation. I try to make light of it altogether, but I'm usually looking at them like, well, I look them up and down and look at myself. Here we are, sis.
Facts.
And I mean, usually that's the response. It is a laugh. Like, I try to break the seriousness of it, because honestly, when it's hard, and this is how my work grew in this space, when you have those conversations, this is a person looking at you and telling you, I can't do this because I've never seen it. And I'm looking back at them like, well, watch me do it then.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the only choice that I even see in my life. Like, I have to say, well, then watch it. Here it is. You can't say it doesn't exist because I'm doing it.
It's weird, but the thing is, it's not weird, because I feel like they're saying to you is, I have this self-worth, this defecating feeling about what I can and can't do based on my size, because society has told me that. And like, do you ever have people come into your class or after they've taken your class who have been, not the mold size, like cry or just kind of thank you, like, thank you for showing me? Like, what are the reactions when people actually do attend and be like, oh, I can do this?
So I mean, I've gotten those responses from just people finding my page and
Yeah.
discovering what I do and what I present. And the comments on my YouTube channel, like, oh, I didn't think this was an option, or I didn't know a way to get around this. And I've gotten those comments, like you said, in person after I've done a workshop, or especially if I'm somewhere working with someone else. If I ran it, obviously, if I throw it or I create it, people know that it's through me. But if I'm just going somewhere where, like, oh, we don't do this over here, you don't do body positivity. Do you do body negativity then?
Most do.
Most do. So I come here with my body positive and like my big body and my strength, and it's like I've definitely been in these moments where people are like, oh my God, like I didn't even think I had an opportunity or an option to do that, or this is I've never seen a big girl do this, do a split, do a wheel, do these things that I'm doing. And it's like, yeah, you have the capability of strength. And to be fair, a lot of people only see, when you have a bigger body, like you only see exercise as for weight loss,
Yeah.
right? And so since you only see it for weight loss, you can't see it as a matter of building strength, of building confidence, of knowing your body better. None of that matters. I just need to get this evil fat off of me. And so to get into a space where I always just embrace where your body is, I feel like that is what causes people to have that breakthrough. Like you said, I've been told by society this whole time that I couldn't. And here it is in my face that someone could. So why couldn't I?
So you mentioned body positivity. What does it mean to you? I mean, because it means different things to different people. What does it mean to you specifically?
Body positivity to me is definitely literally being positive about what your body looks like, can do, is capable of, has done for you. Like just the understanding of I'm not going to be negative about the way my body looks. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be positive and believe in what I am capable of, because I'm strong, because I'm this, because I'm that. I do feel like there is a negative space for body positivity right now, that like people are attacking it online to say like this is pushing obesity and this is encouraging that. And it's like, no, this is the way my body looks. What I am doing is fighting the negativity of diet culture that has been taught to us through the 80s and 90s all the way till now, that is still supported.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of now I'm going to actually say something about it. There's discourse that exists that is against that versus everything supporting it, even scientific studies that are lies, even scientific studies not only that are lies, that are completely like written in a disparative way, like the science is not accurate, it is not valid, it's been disproven, it's been shown as wrong, it's been shown as detrimental to mental health and physical health. Things like our food pyramid are wrong. All this, all
Yep.
these things are so wrong that we've been taught that it's like, oh wow, okay, maybe my eyes could be open. And if you're willing to be open to that space, body positivity is a great place for you. And if you're not, then it's going to be very negative still,
And it,
unfortunately.
it it can be negative. Like you have, and I love that we have artists who are promoting body positivity, and it's becoming more awareness is happening in the mainstream media. Doesn't mean there's still not a lot of work. Doesn't mean there's still not a lot of negativity around it. But I'm curious, you talk about body positivity and like loving your body. How has yoga helped you love your body?
I love this question. And a friend of mine recently asked a very similar question when I was on a live, and it was like, I really had to kind of think about it.
Hmm.
As in, I didn't even understand, honestly, how yoga had helped me love my body so much. Um, where I have always known that I was strong. Like as a kid, I did dance, gymnastics, swim class. Like I did all these things my grandma put me in, but my grandma put me in these things so I would lose weight,
Damn.
not because I'm so good and so athletic and so
Are you positive she felt that way, or you're?
oh yeah,
Yeah, okay.
to
I
her
was I
dying
was giving
day.
Granny a chance. I'm like, baby.
I wish, but I honestly feel like she died still owning the shame of having a larger body.
Okay.
And it's sad. I'm hoping that I showed her something in the last handful of years of her life, but she was only halfway here with us anyway. Um, the rest of the time though, she was actively like on me about my weight, on me about what I ate, about this, about that. Mind you, then when we get older, I understand that I have the same exact body that you have.
Yeah.
And if you lived like this all the way through 90 years old, why do you think my body's going to look much different? There's nothing there. However, what I also know is this was a woman who was a marathon runner. This was a woman who traveled. She walked through the pyramids. She did this, she did that. She did all these things. She had children. She was running around with me when I was at camp, like raising me as her great grandchild, right? Like, so she was a very physically capable person. There's no reason not to love the body that takes you through all of these situations, that carries you through, that supports you, that helps you live and build a family and be a part of a family, right? Because it's not about having kids, it's about participating in life. All of those things are things that your body allowed you to do. Why hate it? That's how I
Because
feel
that's
about
what
that.
society tells you to do. You should hate your body. It's interesting when I think of body positivity by the way you defined it, and I think about it in the sense that I think about how my body speaks to me now through yoga. How I should rephrase that. My body's been speaking to me for a while because your body tells you, oh, those emotions that you're feeling as aches and pains, your body speaking. I'm now listening and hearing
Mm.
clearly through yoga. And I think that for me is a form of body positivity that I'm like, I'm able to hear the messages from my body and react and not to act and not react.
Absolutely. Right. Act ahead of time to know what it is that your body is gonna, I don't know, expect, is gonna go through. Right. Things like we've
Need,
talked about it, like
nourishing.
cycling through your period, through just times of the month, through seasons of the year, right? Just like how I might need different products for my hair in the winter, I might need different movements for my body as
Mhm.
well. And to be aware of those things, I think we said it in like the first or second episode that being aware of where your body is and how your body feels in certain moments and being able to take control of that, invaluable. I don't know what price I could put on that. I can't, the price of my yoga teacher training, the price of any yoga mat, clothes, nothing. There's no level, there's no price for it. This is a priceless thing that comes from not necessarily spending any money, but comes from spending your time and your level of awareness with yourself. Like you said, like being able to acknowledge, I didn't even have enough water today. And so
Mhm.
my body is like this. And I would not have known that if my whole life was based around the hustle and bustle of work culture and not actually paying attention to me and reflecting within and getting that time to pour into myself.
Yeah. So for those of the people who feel like, yoga is not for me, I'm the wrong size. I kind of want to do it, but I kind of don't know where to start. Like, what guidance do you have with poses or just kind of how to move through a process of being a yogi?
Well, one thing that I offer, I have a complete beginner series on YouTube that is free and open, and you can follow those videos. It starts with a how to do a sun salutation and takes you through several different poses. That was something that I built out when I knew people were asking this question: how do I get started? Where to start? What I have learned from this is people don't want to start there.
Yeah. But I'm also talking
Very
about
few
me, especially
people.
starting from when one thinks I can't do it because of my size.
Hmm. But that's the thing, like my language, I specifically, like on purpose, always say, like, my class is made for curvy women. That's what my class is. I talk like this. I speak about where to put your boobs when this happens, right? Lift up, get the chest out of the way. I say these things. These are not comments that are made in regular classes. Um, but that was part of the reason why, like, I built my ebook around creating that space, explaining what's happening here, because I
Yeah.
feel like that's a level of support that I have wanted to provide as well, like almost like coursework. But I honestly always say just go to a person. Start with a one-on-one, start with private sessions. I'm not the only plus size yoga teacher. Go to a yoga teacher that you feel would be able to assess your body. Leave space for being wrong. But go to a yoga teacher that you feel like is going to be able to genuinely assess your body and what you are capable of, and where the way that your body works. I fully believe in this, no matter whether you're plus size or not, right? Especially if you've like had an injury, right? Or something like that. If you have an injury, you go to somebody that focuses on injury recovery. So if you are looking for assistance in plus size yoga, then go to a plus size yogi that is a trained teacher, right? It doesn't have to be me. I'm not the only one. I love to work with people, but like there's so many people now and so many resources. Go to somebody that makes sense for you. Go to and hopefully you can find somebody in person, because that is also a space that seems to make people feel a little bit better. But at the same time, if you are nervous, if you're so scared to even enter the space, there's the online world for you now, especially like post-pandemic. We have to use the resources that are available to us. This is a thing, right? You have the opportunity to go find resources, find people that represent your body, and try to find trained people. Don't be afraid to unfollow people that you followed because you thought that they had. That's okay. Maybe this person isn't quite what you thought or what you needed or what you, then don't. That's okay. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to continue them. You don't have to take their classes. You don't have to pay for their stuff. You don't have to work with them. Work with somebody that you feel like actually represents you and is able to respond to what you are asking and providing in the space. I'm coming here with this big body. Does somebody know how to deal with it?
But what if they don't? Like, what if you go into a studio, you think, oh, okay, this studio looks like it's gonna be good. I'm gonna walk in, I got my cute little mat, I'm looking fly, I got my spot where I'm gonna sit. And they don't understand how to help you with your body. They don't feel inviting. Like, how have you navigated that, or what advice do you have for people who are navigating that?
It is, I would say, really difficult to vet a space before you go.
Yes.
So this is where I say leave space for being wrong. And not necessarily like you're wrong for trying this, right? Don't, that's again negativity. We're not there. You're not wrong for trying it. This is the wrong place for you. And I'm gonna be really, really real, and I might hurt somebody's feelings. If you go to a yoga space that doesn't feel inclusive, that place needs to close, and it will eventually. And unless it just thrives off of other non-yogis, because it's not yoga to be
But that's the
inaccessible.
thing. There's so many places that do thrive on not being inclusive. I mean, I guess we both can name at least five places that we have experienced. So they exist. But I
Mhm.
love the fact that you said, like, leave space for that this ain't the space for me.
Right.
And that's okay that this space ain't for me.
Hmm.
I think that's an important moment to mention.
Right. I would say try out one class, try out a session with these people. Go to a and like, and check their social media, check their representation there. Um Especially like stories. Stories are good because this is like live. This is what's happened, or not necessarily live, but you know what I mean? This happened in this room. And if you happen to notice every time they put something in their story, everybody is pale as a ghost and this big, you may not feel like this is going to be your space anyway. I'm not saying that they're not inclusive. We don't know them. This is a place that I'm mentioning that doesn't even exist. But right, if you don't feel comfortable looking at their social media, if you don't feel like that, then don't bother with them. Don't throw your coins at them. Give them to somebody else. Try out a different space. Look around at what's available, and again, maybe that something has to be available for you online. And I know that we want that level of like camaraderie and connection of being in person and being in a room. And like, if you like that energy, yeah, absolutely. Just keep your head down, go for it, look for that. But be open to having that online space. And honestly, if you can get comfortable in the online space, learning your body, learning yoga with a teacher or virtually, or whatever the case may be, once you do that, you'll have more confidence to walk into a physical space, whether they're really encouraging or accepting or supportive of you and your body and your practice or not. Right. So now, once you walk into this space, it feels very off. And that's a good thing for you to be able to recognize, right? Versus it feels off because I don't know anything and I'm scared and I'm this. That doesn't feel good anyway. But I'm not scared of the yoga. I'm not scared of the mat. I'm not scared of what they're gonna say. I just know these people are not creating an environment of welcome. Then I can go. And I
How
can feel
can a
dependent on
teacher
that.
create those environments? Like if a teacher is skinny, may not have experience, has never had big boobs. I mean, I don't have big boobs. I wanted them, they just didn't come. You know, my grandmother had them. I just never got them. But how does someone who wants to be inclusive of all body types, who but doesn't have that experience of being that body type, how can they do better?
Being very educated. If anything, I would say it's your job. Again, I exist because there were no resources about what to do for a larger body.
Yeah.
If you feel like these are people that come into your space or even could come into your space as a teacher, you should be at least somewhat prepared. So do your research. Be the knowledgeable person. Don't be the person to, when I say, well, what do I do with my boobs? Oh, girl, I don't know. That doesn't
Sorry. I just,
help.
I'm gonna give them to me.
Listen, okay, I promise you, from on this side of the line, we would give you, if we could just give it up, just slide it on over. It would be easy.
I would take them.
Um,
But like even like what are like three tips for someone who wants to be inclusive of all body shapes that you would give? Like how what would you tell what about the boobs?
So you, as a teacher, you
Yeah.
may not know what to do. And I'll say this, like I said, I want people to be more educated about it and to try. But at the same time, if you aren't, if you are unaware, if you were somebody comes into your class the first time and you tell them, and you are in a situation, maybe because this happens with injuries and things like that too.
Yeah.
We never know 100% about everybody that's going to walk into our room, especially in a group yoga class at the gym or at a studio. Like we don't know. We don't know, and it's okay not to know. But be very upfront about that, and then like be honest about what it is that you know and don't know. Don't push people past what it is that they believe that they can do. You can give them opportunities to do so, but don't actually force or encourage too hard, right, them to do that, because this is how people end up hurt in yoga classes. Like you said, in your original experiences, I'm sure you were being encouraged to do this with the words that were being said, maybe directly to you, maybe just to the class. Either way, don't let people, like, the language that you use should not be exclusionary. And like if you notice that somebody is having an extra difficulty with something, because like great example is the step forward from down dog to forward fold, right?
Mhm.
Middle of a sun salutation. Most yoga classes include this. If your belly is in the way, if you have weak hip flexors, if this is your first time, if your boobs are suffocating you because they're hanging down, there's a lot of reasons that may not apply to you when you are telling people to do the sun salutation or this down dog, that these things don't necessarily apply to you, but they are affecting your audience, right? Affecting the people in
Yeah.
your class. Give more modifications, give more opportunity. Um, Tell people that everybody, and like I like to remind people during class that everybody's practice is never going to look the same. Nobody's practice is going to look the same in this room. You're not going to look the same as mine, not going to look the same as your neighbors. Don't compare yourself to them, right? And reminding those things throughout class, as well as the concept of like if you want an adjustment or if you have a question, allowing there to be space to say that I'm not here teaching robots. I have no idea what's about to happen too. We are in this as an experience together. Like creating that kind of environment with your words is like one of the biggest thing as far as like allowing your audience or your clients to feel welcome into your space.
I love that. I think it's needed. And, you know, me as a yoga teacher myself, I'm like, okay, I could do more education. And so I appreciate being in space with you. I'm curious, do you have any like upcoming projects that you're working on that promote? I mean, you everything you do with Theta Yoga is promoting body positivity and being able to embrace and love all sizes. But like, is there anything specifically that this is, you know, to help people get past that this ain't for me because of my size?
Well, so this is also how I ended up getting into confidence coaching and coaching, wellness coaching altogether,
Hmm.
because I was having these conversations. Because it wasn't just a matter of, oh, well, I don't know, nobody's giving the instructions to me. Now it's like you said, that psychological part,
Yeah.
right? I don't know what to do, and so that is where the other elements of yoga really come into play, right? The concept of meditation, and like I always tie together, for me, I always tie together yoga, meditation, and journaling, right? And to get and like to understand that there are other parts. The Kundalini, you don't know about Kundalini. It's not that Kundalini isn't accessible for bigger bodies, you just don't know about it.
Hmm.
Right? The level of education, like look into multiple ways, look into what are the other elements of yoga, how can I get into it, and what benefits are am I specifically looking for, right?
Yes.
So if you find out more about where spaces could honestly be more accessible to you, that makes it a lot easier to happen. That makes it a lot easier for you to get into a space. And then maybe you do say, I want to eventually try something else, right? Like I'll say personally, I started off with vinyasa because I started taking it like at the gym and in studio classes and stuff like that. But my personal style and now teaching is more of a hatha style. It's a little bit slower, a little stretchier. I feel like it responds to the body better. And as far as like a level of workout, my core is killing me still from Saturday. Okay. So I know I'm getting the workout. I know my work is getting done. It's just a matter of like, I had to find the way that it fit for me. And so when I do my confidence coaching, what comes along with that is the coaching sessions where we talk, but also yoga. We do private one-on-one sessions. So I get to tell you what's going on with your body, and then you get to come into classes and practice, right? So it's a matter of like tying all these things together. I feel like the biggest problem, if you feel like you can't get into it because of your size, is that you're stopping yourself.
Yeah.
That's really it. And like that doesn't mean that there's that again, you need to jump into a hot Bikram class and don't do it, right? But maybe you listen to a guided meditation on YouTube. You know, maybe you just get the little bits of it, the first steps to start. Maybe you just watch a video and to see like in a short video, 10-15 minutes, and you're like, look at it. Look at the things. If you feel like it's going to be impossible, then you're going to turn it off. And if you don't feel like it's impossible, you're probably going to start doing it along with the video, just naturally watching, because it's like, oh, it's just this. Oh, that feels good. And then you end up, oh, I need the other side too. And you get into it, you allow yourself to find the space. You are stopping yourself. And I feel this way when it comes to like, well, Black people don't do this. Well, fat people don't do this. Well, women with big chests don't do this. Well, people born on the third Sunday of November, whatever you're
It is.
saying, you're just stopping yourself.
You are, but it's interesting when talking about the different, like how you went from different styles. The thing we didn't talk about, I feel also, is that there are different types of yoga that may fit better for someone of different sizes. Yoga nidra, yoga of sleep. Ain't no one have a problem. Well, most people don't have a problem lying on their back or sitting in a chair and just getting this, this good yoga experience. Kundalini yoga, most of it is seated on the ground. Most of you're sitting down. So it's like not like you have to be in warrior whatever and do yeah, I said warrior whatever. And all these different things. And so it's finding the yoga that works best for you, but also trying, like we talked about in other previous episodes, trying different yoga practices. As we kind
Absolutely.
of wrap up, any last words of wisdom that you have for people who want to have a relationship with yoga? They want to have a relationship with yoga and they really want to focus in on having a better sense of body positivity through yoga. What would you tell them?
I would say that the best thing to do is just start. I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of what I have, right? Like you're allowed to start and just do 10 minutes. You're allowed to start and just do breath work. You're allowed to start and just do meditation. You're allowed to start and just try out a seated pose that you saw on your favorite yogi's Instagram today, right? You are allowed to start there and say, okay, you know what? Maybe maybe I can try step two. Maybe I can still do this. Maybe I can access this. I really do say the biggest thing would be to find a teacher that you feel like could respond to you and your body. Um, and that doesn't mean that people can't, that don't look like you.
Mhm.
Because I've had plenty of great teachers that didn't represent me at all. But that doesn't mean that if I was in my head about it, that I would be comfortable talking to them. If you know that this is a person, it seems like, yeah, no, they seem like they know what they're doing. They have like clients, they know what it is they're talking about. They're trained, they're certified. Like, don't go to an uncertified person. Don't go to an uncertified person. Don't go to an uncertified yoga teacher. Don't do it. Okay. I just want to make sure that was clear. Because that's where people get caught up too and get hurt, right? So go to a person that you feel like is trained, is certified, has the credentials that they need, and shows you that they can speak, that they can do this, that they can figure it out, right? Shows you those things moving forward for you to be able to say, okay, I think that they know what they're doing. I should be able to trust them for at least a little bit of time to get the experience with them, give it a shot. And once you've given it a shot, see how good you feel after.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you could put a price again on how you feel after a yoga class.
You can't. I really agree with you that you can't, because it's a priceless feeling when you are with the right teacher, when you are open to the possibilities, when you are able to listen to your body and also be able to love on her or him a little bit more. Well, I'm grateful we had this conversation because I got something out of it as a teacher. I hope other people who are listening got something as a practitioner as well as a teacher, because this is an education and a community that we're creating so all of us can get this message and so all of us can get this healing. Thank you so much for, spitting your wisdom today and, in your fake sunny Florida day.
And thank you for asking. I really do. I love that we are trying to do this for the sense of people coming together, no matter what their size and color, honestly. But we want to make this space for brown people like us.
All right. Thanks for joining us today. Talk to you guys later. Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Black on the Mat.
Let's continue connecting, sharing our stories, and sowing the benefits of having a yoga practice in your life.
Subscribe to Black on the Mat on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
I'm Saisha, and you can find me at Thick Thigh Yoga on all social media platforms and thickthighyoga.com.
I'm Danielle, and you can find me at Hellowell with Danielle on IG, YouTube, and hellowellwithdanielle.com.